Hi, welcome once again. So in this video we're going to be covering from G all the way to medical to Z. So we're covering from G to Z and we're continuing our medical prefixes. So please ignore the way I blink. I promise it's not medical problem. It's just an addition, I guess, because I don't know. I keep blinking every second, man. So like I said, medical prefixes, these are the words that appear at the beginning of medical terms. So G, I'm starting with gastro. Gastro means our stomach. Example of that is gastritis. And the next one is gluco, like glyco or gluco. So those two means sugar. So if you have glucosuria, like presence of glucose in the urine. Another example is gynecologist. If you're saying your gynecologist, I'll stop on that for G and we're moving straight to H. Now with H, I'm gonna start with emo. So emo like hemoglobin in red blood cell. So, another example is hepato means liver. Example of that is hepatitis, inflammation of the liver. Another example is hydro. We all drink water, right? Hydro means water. If you have hydrocephalus, remember cepha is head, hydrocephalus. Hydro means water, cepha head, hydrocephalus means build-up of fluid, in the brain. All right, so another one is hyper, excessive or above normal. Excessive or above normal. Example of that is hyperglycemia. Hyper means like hypertensive is also another example. So hypo too. Hypo example, hyper means high, excessive, above normal. But for hypo, it means low. Hypo means low. Hypo example of that is hypotension means this person have low blood pressure. So I think I'll stop on that for H while we move straight to high. I'll start with immuno, like immunity. Okay, I'll also talk about iso. Iso means equal. Isotonic is an example of that. So isotonic, when we get to that, I'll talk better. Another I is intra. Another I is intra means between, like within, sorry. Intra means within, like intravenous. You're giving this injection through intravenous routes. Another one is inter. Remember, intra is within, but intra, is within, inter is between, like intercostal, between the ribs. Costal means rib. Okay, intercostal between the rib. Now let's move to the next one, which is the lato, which is L L L L. L lato, we all know lato means milk. If they say your patient is lactose intolerance, you know what that means. All right, the next one is leuco. Is very common. Leuco simply means white. Example of that is leukocyte, which is white blood cell. Another one is lipo, like lipid. Lipo, that means fat. Remember this liposuction everybody's doing, taking out excessive fat. Example of that can be lipohoma, like lipoma. Oma means tumor or cancer. So lipo is like removing a tumor from a particular part of the body. So LIP, if you see that, if they say your patient have hyperlipidemia, they have high cholesterol level. So fat, it deals with fat. Now we're done with P. Like I said, these are not all. I'm only mentioning, pointing out the commonly used ones that you will always come across in your nursing journey. So the next one is M. Example of M is macro, for example, like microphage. Another example is macro means large, but micro means small, like microscope. If they are using that small, instrument to view an object, yes, for microscope. Then we have myelo. Don't get it twisted, because myelo and myo kind of sound the same, but with myelo you have ELO. That has to do with bone marrow or spinal cord. Example of that is myelopathy, Like myelopathy means that's the disease that affects the spinal cord. Another example is myo is muscle. Myelo is bone marrow or spinal cord. MYO deals with muscle. Example of that is like a myocardium. If they say myocardium, that's the muscle surrounding, the heart muscle. Remember, cardiac is your heart. So myelo and myo, they are two different meaning. Myo means muscle in medical terms. Myelo deals mostly with the spinal cord or bone marrow. Okay, so don't forget that. Now let's move to N. With N, I will start with nephro is commonly used, and nephro means kidney. If you're saying a nephrologist, you're saying a kidney doctor. Another one is neuro means your nerves, right? These are the nerves that pass message across to each other, like a neurologist. If you're saying a neurologist, these are the people that study the nervous system. Okay, so the next one I'll talk about is O. O is very common and we use it a lot. Like if you say your patient, I'll start with osteo. So if osteo means bone, okay, example is osteoporosis. Or if you say your patient have osteoporosis, that is they have weakening of the bones. Their bones is becoming weak. This is very common in older adults. Not all, please don't misquote me. Another one is auto, your hair. Like if you're saying anatology, you're saying your hair doctor. Auto like OTO. What am I missing for O? Let me think. I will stop on that for O and I'll move to my P for patho, like pathology. These are the study of diseases. If they say someone is a pathologist, these are the people that study all these diseases, that people actually have. Another example for P is peri is around, like pericardium, around the heart muscle, okay? Another one I'll mention is phlebo. If you're a phlebotomist, you're dealing with the vein, okay? Like phlebitis, inflammation of the vein. When I mention surfaces, you know what itis represents, okay? So for now, let's keep rolling, and we are still on P. Another one, common one for P is pulmonal, like pulmonologists. These are the people that deal with lung. So if you see pulmo, that's lung, like PULMO. That's they're talking about lung. Now let's move to R. I think I'm trying not to be too fast, but at the same time, I'm trying not to be too slow. Okay, so the next one is R, which is renal. For example, renal means kidney. Remember, nephro also means kidney. So, like renal failure. For people that have renal failure, they say they have kidney failure. So, renal means kidney, like renal failure. Remember, nephro is the same as ren. They have the same meaning. Rhino, that's what I'm trying to remember. Rhino is also commonly used is your nose. Like if you say your patient have rhinitis, that is like inflammation of the nose, okay? Now let's move to S. S, the commonly used word for S. Let me think. Sclero, yeah. Sclero means like acne. If they say sclerosis is acne of tissues, right? Sclerosis, yeah, acne of tissues. So now to T, my name, Tayo. Common one is thoracic, like, will I say thoracic or thoraco is chest, right? So thoracotomy, that is a surgical incision into the chest. Thoracotomy, yes. Thoracotomy, yes. Thoracotomy, that's a surgical incision into the chest. So what am I missing for T? Thyroidectomy, yes. Thyroidectomy is removal of the thyroid gland. Yes, removal of the thyroid gland. That is thyroidectomy. So thyroid is this is around here. So uro for urine, glycouria, glucose in the urine. So uro. Okay, this in medical terms simply means urine. Urology, the urologists, they are the one that study the urinary system of the body. Now for V, can somebody help me? Can I remember any V right now? Venogram, that is the imaging of the veins. When they look into the vein, venogram. For Z, simology, yeah, study of the enzymes, the people that studied enzymes. So I will stop now. Like I said, medical prefaces, roots, and suffixes. Combination of this is what will give you your medical meaning, and this will help so much if you understand your medical terms. So in the next video, I'm gonna be covering the root words. That's gonna be so short, and I will cover roots with suffixes and combine them together to give us a meaningful medical terms. But in the meantime, stay tuned. I know this is not interesting yet. It's not interesting because, for maybe for people in nursing school, they might find so much, to learn from this. But for my other lovely subscribers, please stay tuned. We're still gonna dive into all these diseases. I'm definitely gonna talk about hypertension, diabetes, infertility, cancer, HIV. We're still gonna talk all of these diseases: liver problems, kidney problems, causes, what we can do. So please stay tuned. All right. I only made these prefaces based on requests. Some of my, my lovely people in nursing school actually requested for this. Please stay tuned. Don't give up on me yet, okay? We still have a lot to learn from each other. Thank you so much for your love. If you are yet to subscribe, please hit that subscribe button, push the notification button as well, so that you can get my video each time I drop them. Thank you so much, and God bless you.